Hello, my friends. Welcome back to the Cool, Calm, Connected podcast, A Quarterback's Guide to Life and Peak Performance, where we learn how to become the best version of ourselves together. I'm your host, James Brady, and you're listening to episode 4, Adversity is a Gift. Great episode in store for you guys today. Interestingly, I was on another podcast recently, the Locked In Athlete podcast. Highly suggest you guys go check it out. And Austin, the host of that podcast, ended the episode by asking me a question. If you had one piece of advice to give to your younger self while you were still playing, something that you know now that you wish you knew then, what would it be? And it was this exact line: adversity is a gift. So I decided to get right to it and create an entire episode on it for you guys. So as always, before we dive in, I'd like us to take a second to connect to our breath, help us be a little bit more present, a little bit more focused, a little bit more relaxed, to receive all of this information and apply it best way possible, and then express some gratitude to start our day. So if you'll join me, get your feet flat in the ground, shoulders back, spine straight. We're just going to take 3 deep breaths together, into the nose and out to the mouth. Into the nose and out to the mouth. Into the nose, out to the mouth. Last one, into the nose, out to the mouth. Next, expressing some gratitude. Mantra I always like to repeat is thank you, thank you, thank you. I am so, so grateful. I am so, so, so appreciative. So if you'd like to take a second and repeat after me: thank you, thank you, thank you. I am so, so grateful. I am so, so, so appreciative. I suggest we implement some kind of gratitude practice into our daily routines. So this phrase, adversity is a gift, it's all about perspective, choosing how we perceive and think about things, especially when something less than ideal happens or things quite aren't going our way, so that no matter what happens, we can see it in a way that allows us to experience it a little bit more gracefully as we're going through it, and ultimately adapt it to our advantage and be able to use it to our benefit. Because here's the truth, guys. If I know one thing, it's that on this path of mastery and self-actualization and optimization and working to become the best version of ourselves and achieve our dreams and our goals, the truth is that it's going to be hard at times. There's no way around it. That's just a fact. We will struggle. We will be challenged. We will fail. And in my opinion, if we're aware that it's going to be hard at times, that we're going to be challenged at times, we're going to struggle at times, we should equip ourselves with the knowledge and the tools and the skill sets ahead of time before we reach those times of struggle and adversity, to be able to go through it a little bit more gracefully, not letting it affect us negatively, and finding a way to actually use those situations to aid in our growth and our development. And that's what this phrase, adversity is a gift, is all about. So what made me kind of come up with it, in part, is this tattoo I got right here. It's 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to tell you guys a story behind it. This is Bible scripture. It's the book of James, chapter 1, verses 2, 3, and 4. And the story I'm going to tell you guys is all about adversity as a gift, yes. But it's also going to kind of serve as a little introduction to my spiritual side and some of my beliefs and how I experience some things that I didn't always believe in. I didn't always experience life in this way. But ever since I have, it's definitely been to my benefit. It's helped me enjoy life more. It's helped me find more purpose and meaning in everyday little things. So with numerology, if you think of 1111, when you see 1111, what do you say? You make a wish, right? It's just choosing to see that those numbers in order carry some meaning or significance. And it could be with any numbers in any order. And 1, 2, 3, 4, obviously in order, serves a bit of numerology within this story, and also synchronicity. Synchronicity, in my opinion, is a divine sign or a wink from the universe that you're on the right track. Just something being given to you to show you, hey, you're on the right track. You're doing what you're supposed to be doing. You are living in alignment. Keep going. And I think a lot of us would experience it in ways as like an odd coincidence. So you can think of a synchrony as an odd coincidence. It's like, you think you haven't talked to a friend in over a year, right? Maybe they moved and you haven't spoken to them in a long time. And one day you start thinking about them. Oh, man, I miss that guy. And then a few hours later they text you. It's like, wow, what are the odds of that? That would be a simple example of a synchronicity, just an odd coincidence. But it's the universe's way or God's way of showing you there's something important here. This is something for you to notice and be aware of. And this story kind of encapsulates some numerology and some synchronicity and just kind of how I came to come up with this little phrase of adversity as a gift to really embody and live by. So this is going back now to a period of time in my life when I wasn't in the best mental state. I was experiencing some depression, and I was on the up at this period of time. I was teaching high school health and phys ed and a little bit of religion full time. I was the head coach of a high school team. I was working to build the quarterback development business, and my plate was full. I felt overly stressed. I was overwhelmed, and I just wasn't in a good place mentally. And something that I had next to my bed every day was a daily devotional. It was called God's Calling, and it was just this book full of Bible scriptures that the author would expand on. And it was randomized, no particular order, just completely random. And also, at that time, at the school I was teaching at, Long Island Lutheran High School, we had a daily scripture book or a daily verse book where it was a book of randomized scriptures where every day each teacher would write that scripture on the board. So these are two things that I was using as positive input for myself every day, but they were both completely random. So I remember it vividly. The day was March 7th, and 7 was always my number playing football. It was March 7th. I wake up, I open my daily devotional, and it's the book of James, chapter 1, verses 2, 3, and 4. Now it's my name, James, and it's these numbers in order, 1, 2, 3, 4. Look at that. Interesting. And now I read this verse, and here's what it says. Count it all as joy, my brothers. All of your trials and tribulations are given to you to test your faith and strengthen your perseverance. I read that and it hits. It hits hard. What it's saying is your trials and tribulations, your struggles, your difficulty, your pain, the adversity, they're given to you as an opportunity for you to learn and grow and better yourself and come out better on the other side. I'm like, wow, that really hits. I needed to hear this. It was just giving a little bit of meaning to some of the mental pain and suffering I had been experiencing. And it just made me really start to think about, okay, there's some reason behind this. It's actually good for me. It's going to benefit me down the road. All right, so now it's same day. I drive to school. I get into school, and one of the first things I would do when I get in my classroom is open the daily scripture book to write the scripture on the board that I think it was during homeroom would be read, and the whole school would be hearing and reading that same verse all together. And I open up the book, again, completely randomized, and guess what verse it is? It is the book of James, chapter 1, verses 2, 3, and 4. And I literally started crying. I couldn't believe it. It was like, what are the odds of this? That these two completely different books that are completely randomized scriptures would be the same exact one on the same day that I'm reading them. It's my name. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 in order, and it's this message that I know I need to hear. And it was right then and there. I was like, "This, I need to spend time with this message, with this teaching." It's obvious to me at this moment in time, this is very, very, very important. And I went as far as to get a tattoo of it as a daily reminder that I need to count it all as joy. Any and everything that is happening in my life, anything and everything that's happening in my life, especially the hard things, because my trials and tribulations are given to me to test my faith and strengthen my perseverance. And another way I started to think about it is, it's literally all good depending how you look at it. A challenging circumstance, a challenging situation, something that's hard for you in the moment, if we can choose to perceive it in a way as a gift being given to us, as a lesson to learn that will benefit us in the long run, it's only going to help us experience it more gracefully in the present as we're going through it. And ultimately, it'll help us grow down the road. I saw my mental health, this helped me see my mental health issues as a gift being given to me. And looking back on it now, I can see it now, the lesson I was being given, what I was being given the opportunity to learn, was how to alchemize negative energy and transmute pain into power. So let me explain alchemy really quick. Alchemy, for a lot of people, you might think of it as turning any kind of substance into gold. That's on the science kind of chemical side. I like to think of it in terms of energy. When we are experiencing a negative energy, learning to alchemize it means transmuting it or shifting it into a positive so that we can use it to our advantage. Now, the word transmute is literally just change, right? And if you think of pain as an emotion, as an energy that we're experiencing, it's very powerful. If we can learn to transmute or change that painful or negative energy into positive, we can literally use it as a power to help us continue to move forward and grow and achieve all the things that we want to achieve. You can think of any of your pain as losing a big game, getting injured, getting our hearts broken, or as small as getting a bad grade on a test you studied hard for and you thought you'd do well on. The pain that we are experiencing, the adversity, is a gift being given to us in the form of this powerful, painful energy, so that we are given the opportunity to learn how to transmute that pain into power, ultimately using it and adapting it to our advantage. So it's literally all good. We can use it all, no matter what it is. So when I say adversity is a gift, another thing I think that helps is to think of it in terms of hindsight and foresight. You may have heard the phrase, hindsight is 20/20. What that means is, so 20/20 vision is like perfect vision, right? Hindsight is 20/20. What that means is that after something has happened, we can look back on it and see it clearly. Oh, that's why that happened. This is what I needed to learn. This is what it helped me do to grow and better myself. After the fact, you can look back at it. It's easy to look back and see those lessons. Hindsight is 20/20. What foresight is being able to look forward, being able to be going through something in the present and trust and understand there is a lesson to be learned here that will benefit you in the future. So when I say adversity is a gift, a tool I practice is that when I'm going through a challenging situation, something that's stressful, something that's hard. I choose to see in the moment that there's a lesson to be learned here. I might not be able to see it right now, but I know eventually I'm going to be able to look back and say, oh, here was the lesson. So by practicing having foresight in the present during a challenging situation, from my experience, it helps the lesson. It helps what you need to learn or work through appear more readily, which helps you work at it and move forward sooner. So a simple example from my own life where I can look back on it now and say, oh, yeah, it's obvious this is why it happened. But in the moment, I did not see it that way, and it caused me a lot of pain and suffering, was a majority of my college football playing career. 3 different times over my 5-year college football experience, I tore the labrum in my throwing shoulder. I couldn't throw. Looking back, I probably should have gotten surgery the first time. I never did. I tried to let it heal and work through it. But each time it happened, I handled it worse. I saw it from a victim mentality. Like, poor me, why is this happening to me? And it, quite frankly, just caused me a lot of mental pain and suffering. The thing I love to do most, play football, quarterback, throw, was being taken away from me. And each time what it was doing, it was showing me that how attached I am to my identity as a quarterback. And it was taking that away. And without that, I didn't know who I was. And because of that, I suffered mentally. Each time I experienced depression a little bit more severely. And the last time, my 5th year senior year, I went to a really, really dark place because I saw it as something happening to me from that victim mentality where I completely disempowered myself, gave all my power away, and succumbed to negative thought patterns that drove me into making poor decisions and not using that experience to better myself during that period of time. Now, looking back at it, it's obvious to me that those injuries occurred and how I handled them and how I perceived it and how it affected me and my mental health. Those were all gifts given to me for me to learn how to work through those circumstances, how to find answers to become healthy again, physically and more importantly, mentally, to gather the knowledge and the tools and the skill sets to battle through that adverse situation so that now when I am encountering countless athletes experiencing all these challenges and all these adversities in all different shapes and sizes, I'm better equipped to support and guide them because of what I went through and what I learned from it. So that's how I can look back at it now. Hindsight for me is, yeah, I experienced this pain and these struggles and these adversities, these trials, these tribulations, so I could better support and guide young men and individuals later in my life. Now, if in that moment, the first time I tore my labrum, I was able to take a step back and say, there's a lesson to be learned here. I know this is good for me. I know it's going to prove to be valuable in the future. My honest opinion is I don't think I would have suffered so deeply because I knew there would be good to be coming from it. That's a simple example from my life where I can look back on something challenging that happened that I needed to be able to equip myself and better myself for the betterment of people that are in my life now. Then I wouldn't have had to suffer so much. So that's a quick, simple example. So adversity is a gift really comes back to everything is a matter of perspective. How you choose to see things, perceive things, and think about things. What I firmly believe is that the one thing we're always in control of is what we are thinking about ourselves, about our circumstances, about our surroundings, about other individuals. Our thoughts are directly in our control. That's why I believe our superpower is our power to choose, our power to choose one thought over another above all else. So the next time adversity strikes, what I suggest you choose to do is first express gratitude for its presence, for the gift that you're being given, this challenging situation that might seem really hard at the time, but if we're grateful for it, that opens our mind to the lesson being presented to us that we can learn so we can experience the challenge more gracefully and grow sooner. Express your gratitude for its presence first, and then ask, what is this here to teach me? What can I learn from this? By asking these questions, we empower ourselves to perceive it however we choose, and use the situation to our advantage, getting out of the victim mentality and into the victor mentality. We empower ourselves to take control of all of the circumstances in our lives by controlling how we're thinking about them and choosing to see them in a way that we can use it to adapt it to our advantage, transmute our pain into power, and come out better on the other side. Every time you choose to express gratitude for a challenge, every time you choose to ask, what is this here to teach me? What can I learn from this? You are strengthening your superpower, your power to choose by choosing to find the good in a difficult situation, and also developing another superpower, transmuting your pain into power. I wish there was a magic pill I could give you all where you'd never experience pain or struggle. Actually, that's not true. I don't wish that upon anybody. You need your challenges. You need pain. It's part of our human existence. What we're in control of is how we perceive it and how we experience it. We know it's part of our process. We know it's part of the journey. So these are this is the mindset, these are the tools, these are the skill sets I'm sharing with you today in hopes that you take them, and the next time trials and tribulations or adversity presents itself, you think about this. Adversity is a gift. This is a gift being given to me for my betterment in the long run. It's hard right now, but I know this is exactly what I need. I'm going to learn from this. I'm going to grow from this and come out better on the other side. So adversity is a gift, my friends. Take it, use it. As always, thank you for joining me on the podcast. My approach is if this reaches one person and they're able to apply these lessons to their lives, then it is worth it, and that means the world to me. As always, if you can, like, share, subscribe, all the things, engage with the content. The more that you engage, the more other people will be able to see it. And that is our mission here, Cool, Calm, Connected, is to make a massive impact, as big as possible. Help as many people with the knowledge and the tools and the skill sets that I've learned, help anybody become the best version of themselves. We're doing all that together. So if you wouldn't mind, engage with the content, share it. If you think somebody needs to hear it, send it to them. It means the world to me. Thank you guys for listening. Catch you on the next one. Peace and love, everybody. Be kind to one another.